Everybody 1-2 Switch is the sequel to the Nintendo Switch title 1-2 Switch that you or someone you know probably bought because you finished Breath of the Wild and needed something else to play.
Because Everybody 1-2 Switch is a game best played with mates, we thought it'd be a great idea if we review it together. Kind of like a game review, but co-op mode.
Yeah, but we're not mates though.
Workmates are still mates.
Okay, as long as you understand that.
Everybody 1-2 Switch!
1-2 Switch!
Think of Everybody 1-2 Switch like a Deagle Station menu. The meals are smaller, it feels overpriced, and by the end of it, you're like, really? Is that it?
The collection of 17 minigames are meant to be played in quick succession with a group of people, but it takes a punishingly long amount of time to get into and out of those minigames. Like for real, we timed it, and from starting a game to actually playing a game, there was nearly 3 minutes of unskippable intros, instructions, and menus.
Every time you boot up to play, you're assaulted by this horse gronk that introduces himself as the host and then walks you through the rules and the structure every time. After that, you've got to spin a wheel to select a game, hear that game's specific instructions, and sometimes undergo a practice round or Joy-Con calibration. And then when you get into the games, they're okay.
Some, like Color Shoot, where you need to take a photo of something the same color as a reference pick, and Hide and Seek, where one team hides a Joy-Con and the other uses its vibration sounds to locate it, are actually super duper fun. Oh, it's right there. Found it. Look at that. It dinged when you put it in the cup, mate.
How fun is this? Okay, now, we had a great time running around in a big group, taking photos of posters and hiding Joy-Cons in people's desks. It feels like something new for a party game.
But for those two new feeling games, there are 15 other mini games that feel like worse versions of stuff we've already played.
One of the best games in 1-2 Switch was the Cowboy Duel game Quick Draw. Now that's been given a samurai coat of paint and it's just not as fun. Instead of speed and angle, it's now just speed where you drew your sword from.
I actually thought that was pretty cool because they're using that great motion tracking of the Joy-Con to differentiate your sword strokes, like overhead strike and left shoulder strike.
Yeah, sure, but what about that every game has multiple differing versions and that we got the several instances of the same game on the selection wheel at once?
True, like each game has multiple versions with different rules, but none of them improve and change the core idea enough to even warrant those changes. Like one game where one person throws ninja stars and the other person deflects, which is way more fun when we made up our own rules. Damn it!
I just kept thinking the whole time the original 1-2 Switch was way snappier. It didn't have the game show theme or a random choice wheel. You just picked whatever game you wanted to play. You could skip past the instructions after you'd played it once and each one felt pretty fresh. It felt like Nintendo went to crazy lengths to see how they could show off the various features of the Joy-Cons and presented these features in fun ways, like the hot dog eating game with the IR camera. So dumb and fun. The safe cracking game with the haptic feedback. Awesome. I was expecting the sequel to continue to add wacky games that creatively explore the capabilities of the Joy-Con, but none of them really did that except for the hide and seek game. Most just rely on motion controls and don't feel that specific or fine-tuned.
But I guess the difference here is the addition of smart devices.
Yeah, look, it barely works though.
It really does. Outside of Color Shoot, your phone is just used as a replacement for the Joy-Con, and those motion controls are super unreliable. Like one of the worst mini games is like a rip-off of Squid Game's Red Light, Green Light called Statues, where you need to sneak up on this weird child who sounds old enough to pay taxes.
Cheer the others on.
While his back is turned and you freeze when he turns around.
My phone would register the slightest of movement.
Whereas mine barely registered any movement at all. But there is one thing Everybody 1-2 Switch does that is awesome. The quizzes.
We know the drill.
It's your stock standard 2-choice quiz, but it gets really fun when the questions tap into your primary school comprehension skills. Like, you'll be shown a picture of 4 rats and 5 fish, and the question will be, which one lays eggs?
Rats, I don't know about you, but I would prime myself for an answer and then ignore the question as soon as I could lock something in.
Yeah, it taps into that part of your brain where you're trying to predict the question based on the limited info you have, because there are points for answering the fastest.
Yeah, and you can also create your own quizzes, which we had heaps of fun doing.
But again, this is the fun we made, not the game being fun.
Everybody 1-2 Switch was super fun when there was a big group of us running around trying to take photos of different colors or making up rules to break up the monotony of its mini games. The thing with a party game where you're making your own fun is that there are way better ones out there like Jackbox that also use smart devices in more simple and fun ways.
We've played for probably 5 hours across about a week, and honestly, I can't see us ever booting up Everybody 1-2 Switch again. Pass. Make him kiss. We are facing.
I think we broke it.
Oh, shit.